Welcome back to my channel. Hi. It's really great to see all of you. I guess you could say I have a more serious tone tonight. Mostly because there was a mass shooting not too far from where I live, and kind of shocked me. I mean, I moved from America to be here, and over there the mass shootings are, you could say, commonplace, honestly, because I did some research and just out of curiosity to see how many had been happening, and I found out that there have been 8 mass murders, or classified as mass murders, mass shootings in America since March 16th of this year. So to say that we're more accustomed to those sorts of things over there is an understatement. And when I first arrived in England, it was different. It just felt different. And I remember we would walk to the grocery store, and there's this area where you walk where it's so dark, and I would always get very nervous, and so I would think, okay, what can I protect myself with, and I would have my keys in my hand, so I would do what they taught us, and you take a key and you put it in between your fingers and you hold it in your fists like this, and you just have it there just in case. Or you have a flashlight, a torch, and you flash it in their eyes, and it'll blind them temporarily just for a second or two, but that second or two will give you enough time to get away. This is the kind of stuff you're taught over there to protect yourself, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I suppose I let my guard down. And over the years, I felt safer. So having this happen so close by was just unbelievably, it was sad. It was very sad, and it was just eye-opening again to just how horrific people can be to one another, just hearing all the people that have lost their lives is just it's horrible. There's this person that I'm reading about, and his name is Jake Davison, and he's 22 years old, lives in England, and he has a firearm license. But what really stuck out to me was that he appears to be what some people call an incel. Now, if you're not familiar with what an incel is, I imagine and would wager within the next week or so, you'll have a really good idea of what an incel is. Until that moment happens, though, I'll tell you what I know, and you can run with that. Did some research and found out that at least 8 mass murders from 2014 on that resulted, I think, in the loss of 61 deaths were committed by people who either identified as incel or would go read the incel blogs and just would talk about it. And so this is a problem, I think. And 8 mass murders, that's not nothing. It's disturbing. And just to have that many people, and in my theory on it, And I don't know whether people want to hear it or not. COVID obviously does not help with the isolation. I understand that. But the incel mindset goes beyond that to me. It's refusing to take responsibility for something that you lack internally. And maybe you need to learn something new. Maybe you need to brush up on communication skills. Maybe you need to learn a little bit of patience. Maybe you need to have a go at what, reality, what it actually is to talk to someone, to date, what are boundaries. There's all these sorts of things that come into play when you're communicating with someone else. And it's important to show respect on both sides. Now, what I wonder is what kind of a person it takes to wake up in the morning and look at themselves, like, take this person, for instance, look at himself in the mirror, at his disheveled appearance, at his, lack of a social life. He obviously had some problems. And some of them he could have handled better, clearly. But how does someone like that wake up and look at themselves and say, oh, it's all women's fault? Every deficiency I have within me is the fault of a woman. How does that compute? I don't understand that one bit. It doesn't make any sense at all. And so the first person he killed was his mother. Am I surprised? No. Because many of them, through my reading, blame their mothers. It's one of the first women they are exposed to, their mother or their sister. That's where they start naming them things. And there's a woman in their life that has been targeted by them, basically. And she was the closest one. He then went to the next house, kicked the front door in, and killed a 2-year-old girl. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but I didn't say anything about the room troll. And I didn't out of respect for her, because her name is, Sophia, or Sophie. And I couldn't do it. It wasn't respectful. And, when I read what he did, what he actually did, when he left that house and then went right over there and could somehow pull the trigger on a 2-year-old child and then kill her protector, her father. And he adopted her. He was living the kind of life that I always encourage other people to do, because I always encourage people to please adopt children, because there are so many of them that are already here and they just need someone to see them and to love them. And so many people have been saying, how could he do it? And I wonder, I can't help but wonder, in that incel kind of warped mind, he saw a little girl and thought she's going to grow up to become, another problem for another man or something. I don't know, but the way they think is so skewed. I can't help but wonder. It was horrific. It's beyond me how anybody could go into somebody's house and kill anyone anyway. But how you could turn any weapon on a child and do what he did, I can't. I don't have children of my own, but my gosh, I could never do that. Never. I don't even understand how that thought process works in someone's brain. It doesn't make any sense, But, yeah, there's a beautiful, Little girl just gone, you know. And her father is now gone, and you know, this guy left their house and continued on in his little path of destruction. He walked down, and then he shot another woman, another man along the path of his destruction. One of them is in the hospital, did not die, thankfully. You know, has to be some glimmer of hope here. And then he kept walking, and I think he was near a park, and he shot another man and another woman, and they're just out walking. They were just out having a walk. Like, when I feel good, that's what I do. I go out and I have a walk. I've been in England since 2011 and have not felt that fear since that long. And oh my gosh, when it just washed over, and I had some people contacting me asking me, are you okay? Because, you know, it was close. And no, I'm not okay. I haven't been okay since I heard about it, since I read about it. Honestly, I can't get it out of my head. And I'm so worried about her. Like, everything is, like, the families. I mean, my gosh, what they're going through. I can only hope that anybody who has taken photos of the deceased and the crime scenes, that they don't share them. Don't do that, please. You know, that's really the wrong thing to do, okay? I hope you'll take the advice of the police and just out of respect, please, you know, continue to not share that. Please don't. They need to be able to have their time to mourn, you know. Anyway, so yeah, I've found out that an incel was initially a term created by a woman who created something that described somebody who is basically, they consider themselves to be celibate, but it's involuntary. So they don't really want to be celibate, but they find themselves being celibate and they don't like it. Now, a man who considers himself incel has this thought in his head that women owe him something and that he should be able to have sex, and you know, it's all the woman's fault. And to me, those are thoughts in the head of somebody who would be willing to do almost anything to attain sexual gratification and any justification in any means. It's frightening. You know, it seems like borderline thoughts of like a rapist to me. But again, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It just does not. It's obviously not okay. I've witnessed some of their videos. I've read some of the things that they have to say, and I'm not going to repeat any of it here. It's not worth it. I'm not going to air any of it. I'm not even going to give any links, because that kind of rhetoric should not be shared. It should just die where it's been put. Don't share it. Don't give it any airtime if you can help it, you know. But there are also women incels, but I checked, and from what I can surmise, there isn't or has not been any like violence associated with a female incel. It's just from what it's just the males so far, but I don't know. I'm not saying for certain because, again, I do not know every instance of this, but I do know that what happened, I'm never going to forget. I'm never going to forget that. It was awful, you know? And as soon as I get off from doing this video, I am going to be putting hearts up on my window, big green ones, in remembrance. It's a little thing, but it's all I can do. And that's another reason why I'm wearing this, because it's the only green thing I had that I could put in my hair. I have green earrings, but they're not appropriate. So, considering the subject matter, and I don't know if there's anybody that happens to see this that is, linked to any of the family members. I am sincerely sorry for what happened over there. It's just, I'm so sorry. Nobody should ever have to go through that. Nobody. And I do hope that they do put in an inquest and try to find out more as to why he was in possession of that weapon after it had been taken from him and then returned. There really does need to be more of an investigation to find out why that happened and how. So, I'm not going to drag this along any further. I just want to say that I hope everybody can see incel for what it is, and don't share it if you can. Just ignore it, and hopefully they'll grow up and they'll look to themselves, maybe find out what their problem is. Just better yourself, nobody owes you anything, if you want to have a better experience in life, I believe it's up to you to better yourself. It's the only way. So, I bid you good night.